Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
This is Merchant Talk by Practical E-Commerce. I'm Kerry Murdock. Running a successful e-commerce site takes skill and hard work. But what about running 24 e-commerce sites? That's what Brad Likens does. He's the co-owner of Best Service Stores, and in 4 years, his company has grown to over $20 million in annual sales with 24 separate e-commerce sites. He does all of this from his headquarters in suburban Kansas City, and he joins us here. Well, Brad, thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Sure. Brad, your company, Best Service Stores, you run multiple separate e-commerce sites, a fair number of e-commerce sites. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into e-commerce and about the sites that you operate?
Yes, we, as a part of the company that I work with, we were in the real estate servicing industry, servicing all kinds of different real estate and mortgage companies. In that market, it seems to be that as the interest rates go, so does business. And we wanted to diversify a little bit and try to get in some different markets. At the time, we found a website that was for sale. It was a smaller website, and we thought we'd say, why not, and took a shot at it. And we saw some success. And then since then, we've acquired several more websites, and we've started some of our own. I think one of the first ones we bought was thejunglestore.com, and then it followed Arsa Toys and hobbywarehouse.com. Those were the first three we purchased, and since then we've opened up now over 24 websites, and those are probably split about 50-50 on those sites which we've acquired and sites which we've opened up on our own as new stores.
Are all of those e-commerce sites, Brad, those 24, do you sell retail products on all of them?
Yes, those 24 are e-commerce sites. And we have approximately 6 or 7 sites which are not e-commerce sites, which a lot of those are social marketing sites or just information sites. A lot of that is to do with the marketing for the e-commerce, and those a lot of times will feed towards our e-commerce sites. So all in all, we have about 24 e-commerce sites today and about 6 informational social marketing sites.
And you're in the Kansas City area?
We're located in Lenox, Kansas, which is a suburb of Kansas City, and the office that we have here is where we have our office employees here, and then we also have a 35,000 square foot warehouse here attached to our office, and then we have another warehouse in downtown Kansas City, which is about 100,000 square feet.
So the junglestore.com, your first acquisition, when was that?
That was in about 2006.
So you've gone from one store to 24, plus the other sites, one e-commerce site to 24 e-commerce sites in about 4 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a whirlwind.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
So, Brad, why do you choose to run separate sites? Why don't you run all of those on a single site?
When we look at the product lines that we have, we try to do a little bit of both. We try to do some, as we call it, niche sites and some kind of supermarket sites. We try to balance that out. In our mind, 10 years down the road, we'd like to have both be successful. But in today's marketplace, it's tough to determine which will have more success. It depends on, you never know. It could be that there are major players in this industry, the Amazon.coms or Walmart.com, that it might be that running a supermarket type store isn't something that's going to be successful in 10 years, depending on the direction that those big fish decide to take. As opposed to running a niche store, maybe it could be that those phase out, and it's just better to have multiple stores. So we're not sure what direction the market's going to take, but we're prepared for either direction.
Now, running that many stores, I got to believe the operations back end side of your business has to be in sync. How do you do all that? Like, do you fulfill all these orders yourself?
Yes, we fulfill all the orders ourselves. We have 2 warehouses that we fulfill orders from. We use a lot of integrated shipping systems, and we're trying to keep up with all the latest advancements in making the shipping easy. But we do ship all these ourselves. There are some products which we will drop ship. We do drop ship on occasion. But after time, we prefer to stock the items ourselves. Most of the times when we drop ship, it's more trying out a new product line. If drop shipping is available, we might try out a new product line to see if there's success. And then if there is, then we'll try to bring it in-house. But as far as keeping track of the inventories, it is tough running a lot of different stores. We essentially have 9 e-commerce back-end databases. So we have 9 different stocking systems. And we try to use the same back-end platform across all systems. So even if we acquire a new site and it is in Volusion, or it's in NetSuite, or it's in Yahoo, or it's in iCongo, or all the different types of systems out there, we'll try to work out an integration into our back-end system, which right now we're using NetSuite for our back-end system. But then inside of NetSuite, we use a few different databases. So we might duplicate some of the multiple inventories across the different sites. And sometimes that's what we have to do, because we do sell products on Amazon and other shopping sites like that. And when you sell products on there, you have to be very conscientious about your shipping times. And so we don't want one of our e-commerce sites, a sale on our site, to perhaps use up that same inventory that would be shipped out for one of our orders through an Amazon store. So we do keep multiple. We have products that we have multiple inventories that we keep track. We have 50 of one item in this database, and we have 50 of that item in a second database.
You mentioned NetSuite. Why did you pick NetSuite?
One of the first sites that we purchased was in NetSuite, and as we added more sites on and we learned more about different systems, they all have pluses and minuses, and it all depends on what your business needs are. For us, NetSuite has a very strong accounting backend, and since we're using multiple front ends to host the actual sites themselves, we wanted to make sure that our back end, our inventory controls and our accounting systems and our financial reporting was really robust. And I think NetSuite has one of the most all-inclusive accounting backends and financial reporting backends of the internet e-commerce systems out there.
So do all of your sites and your databases that you've referred to, do they all automatically feed in to a single accounting system with NetSuite?
Yes, they do. We have a team of, we use a lot of XML and real-time interfaces. We have a team of programmers here that build those for us. Those are all in-house, and they feed directly into our NetSuite system. A lot of times what we'll have is on our website, within the platform that we're using for our website, that controls the pricing that the customer sees, the descriptions, the images, and just the look and feel of that website. Or that information resides in the platform we're using to run the website. But once an order is placed, those orders, all that data is sent directly through to NetSuite, and then all of the customer service and inventory levels, and then accounting and finance reporting is done through NetSuite.
You mentioned programmers. Are those in-house programmers?
Yes, we've done. There are occasionally pieces that we will outsource, and we've used a variety of outsourced companies. Celigo is one example that just comes to mind, that have built some pieces of the integration with us, but a lot of the integration that we build is done in-house.
Mm-hmm. How many programmers do you have in-house?
We have, I'd say, 4 or 5 programmers in-house that we use.
How many employees do you have?
In the internet business, it depends on what season it is, how many employees we have. During an off season, a normal day, we might have about 20 to 25 employees. But that includes everybody from someone who's doing blogs for us and writing social marketing content, to someone in the warehouse, or someone doing kind of graphical design.
How do you market your sites?
We try to use all different types of marketing strategies. We do a lot of paid marketing through Google AdWords, Yahoo AdWords. As a site comes on board, it's the way you can see the immediate results. You can turn on that paid marketing and then look a couple hours later and see if that was successful or not. That's also the most expensive kind of marketing. So over time, whereas we might start with some paid marketing, we'd like to build up our organic results, and we would like to build a big social network that feeds into our sites as well. From there, we might go on to some of the shopping comparison engines, like Google Base, NextTag, Shopzilla, Price Grabber. We use a variety of strategy when we go to the shopping comparison engines as well. We've used third-party services, kind of distribution feeds, such as anyone from single feed to Merchant Advantage to some of the more complex packages like Channel Advisor and Merchant to manage those shopping comparison sites. Or sometimes in the outset, with a new site, we might try just to go to one of the sites, say NextTag directly, and just give that a try ourselves before we send it to someone to manage those feeds.
Do you manage the pay-per-click and SEO work in-house?
Yes, we manage that in-house as well. And I know there's been a lot of companies that have had a lot of success with outsourcing the AdWords, the paid marketing through AdWords. We just have not gotten to that point. We haven't tried that yet.
How many keywords would you say that you're running at any one time on a paid search program?
I would guess that the number is in excess of 200,000 keywords that we run at any given time.
Can you tell us your total revenue size or the number of SKUs you run there?
Yeah, at any given point, we might have 50 to 60,000 SKUs in stock. During the holiday seasons, that number definitely increases. I think that this year I would estimate our gross revenue to be between 20 to 25 million. Next year, maybe that could be as much as 40.
Brad, our listeners, of course, are e-commerce merchants. For the most part, they're far, far smaller than your company. What advice would you offer to small merchants that are in the e-commerce space right now?
I think sometimes people might get into e-commerce, like other businesses, and think that hear the success stories and think that this is going to be a slam dunk. But It is a lot of work. The internet world is so large when it comes down to all the different types of marketing and the types of products out there. It's a very big world. So the tip I would have is that at least when starting out, you need to find out what you have that really resonates with your customers and really become experts at selling that product to your customers. And of course, putting the customers first also. Knowing what the customers want and knowing how to give that to them as easily as possible, and then providing the best service you can for that customer. You have to start small. It's easy to get lost in the internet world just because there's so many different ways to go, that starting small, finding something that works for you, and really honing your skills to provide that one service, and then growing from there, I think, is a good way to get started.
Well, for purposes of our listeners again, Brad's company is bestservicestores.com. As he said, they run 24 separate e-commerce sites under that corporate umbrella, and the URL is bestservicestores.com. And Brad Likens, the co-owner of Best Service Stores, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.